All right, we're back at with another episode of the Spotlight. We're here with Nique. So basically at the beginning of the show, have you explain what you've been doing in the past, what you got coming up, and just tell them a little bit about yourself.
For sure. My name's Dominic Sanders. I'm a teacher. I'm a head basketball coach, and I'm a personal trainer. School just ended, so usually in the summer is when I really spend most of my time training. We have a pretty good basketball program, Division I level here in Northeast Ohio. So we got summer league action, all that stuff. So pretty much in the summer, my time kind of changes. Focuses more on training, focuses more on fully basketball, investing obviously, and then obviously during the school year is primarily teaching. But obviously that's about to end here.
You said you were the head coach, basketball coach at the school. Do you have to teach a class as well?
You know what? So some schools do require you to be a teacher in that district, but a lot don't. At least here in Northeast Ohio. I actually teach at the rival school that I'm the head basketball coach at. Long story, but I'm a head basketball coach at Nerdonia High School, which is a rival of Twinsburg. Twinsburg is the school I teach at, and the school I graduated from.
Oh, okay.
So it's a little bit of a collision course at times, but. You know, I'm blessed to obviously have both opportunities for sure.
Yeah. So in that situation, when it's you got that rival game and it's at the school you teach at, do you have to drive to the other school and then drive back? So
usually it depends. Usually I ride the bus with the fellas. But yeah, like once you get to the arena, you know, obviously or the school is definitely hostile at times.
Yeah.
You know, you got two big time teams, big time programs, and obviously they're gonna support their team. So I can remember it's my fourth year at Nerdonia. My first year we went back because we're in the same conference and everything. We play each other twice a year. Our first time going back, student section was going crazy at me. Like they was chanting everything. He likes Reese's. He's a traitor. Yeah. You know, whatever they could think of, they just chanting and supporting their team, which is respectful, and I respect it. You know, you're here to support your team, but it's all fun. It's all love for sure.
Yeah. I never really got a perspective of a basketball coach because, you know, I play football. Right. So, you know, I kind of like know a perspective of football. Like, how does basketball, as far as, like, coaching it, and, like, is it like we going to the game, like, we going to do these certain plays, and if it don't work, we're going to do these, or you go in and, like, just hoop, and then we have to do plays, we're going to do plays?
Right. So you mean, like, when you come in, like, the first couple plays are scripted for football.
Yeah.
So, like, it's similar, like, in terms of having a plan. Like, for example, if, let's say Finley's playing Tiffin. I'm sure y'all not got the same game plan as it may be a spread offense versus a maybe T offense. Right. So it's kind of like basketball, same thing. If we play a team that's maybe fast in transition versus a team maybe that is more of a 3-point shooting team, our game plan is going to be a little different. Yeah. Same type of preparation for we watch a lot of film. I would say football, you probably spend a little bit more time throughout the week of practice on X's and O's. Yeah. Basketball, we kind of have our sets that we know, and now we might tweak a few things depending on the matchups. Yeah. But both similar and both very different, for real.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So did you start off being a head coach, or did you start off being an assistant coach?
Started off in the mud, man. I got out of college, and I was a freshman head coach for 4 years. I did freshman head basketball coach, and I was a head middle school football coach. Okay. Yep, did both. After 2 years, I got moved up to coach varsity receivers at Twinsburg, and then I was a JV basketball coach at a different school, Kinston. Once I got my first basketball head coaching job, I was at a small Division II school in the country called Field, Ohio, Brimfield, Ohio. The school was Field, and I was there for a year. And after a year, I was able to get my first Division I job at Nerdonia, and you know it's my fourth year. We had some success this year. We got to the district championship, first time in over 10 years. Yeah. So we're just trying to keep plugging away and keep promoting the program for sure.
Yeah, that's what's up, for real. Like with when tryouts, is tryouts hard for you? Like, cause I know when I used to see tryouts in high school, it was always the people that made it last year. Of course, they're gonna make it this year because they're good enough. So you really can't even trip about that. And they always be on their own little court. They already running sets that they got from last year. What are you looking for when you out there looking for new players to add? Are you looking for like more fundamentals, or like do you just look at guys that naturally look like they know how to play, or like what are you looking for?
That's a good question. Personally, me, I love a dog. You know, I love someone that's out there that's gonna be physical, it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be, but also respectful. You know, and someone's gonna put in the work. You know, I think, you know, I'm gonna tell you what, it's hit or miss every year. Some years you got the same guys that show up every day in the summer, and they're the best once trial comes. But when trial comes, that's what you're getting evaluated on.
Yeah.
This past year, we had 2 guys that didn't show up to nothing in the summer, and then come season, well, they were the top 30 in terms of our JV and varsity program, and they made the team. Cuts is definitely the hardest part as a coach. Especially when you got people that come in every day in the summer. Yeah. Now you tell them, look, you came every day in the summer, but you're not good enough, right now. And then obviously as a teenager, it's emotional. Yeah. And then you obviously you want to be a mentor to that kid, but at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for the program. So it does get difficult. It does get tough, but I think that's what we signed up for.
Yeah. What would you say was the best? What's the best part about being a head varsity coach for basketball?
Definitely, for sure, is the relationships that you gain. You've been around the guys, man. It's nothing like being around athletes. Nothing around being a bunch of guys that go-getters that want to accomplish the same goal. But also, I also say just being involved in the sport. The coaching. I'm blessed to have some great assistants, some legendary assistants that not only distribute knowledge to myself but to the rest of the program, the players. And then you just see the growth, man. Every single day you see guys get better and better and better. And I think that's why we all keep coming back every year. Yeah.
Would you ever see yourself going to college, coaching?
No, that's a great question too. Obviously, maybe. I think that's a big if. I actually have gotten some not offers but suggestions, reaching out to maybe be an assistant at the next level. I think if the right situation happens, potentially down the future. But I think right now, I want to. Help sustain excellence in the program that we have and continue to, put us on the map.
Yeah. So, with the teaching part, is that hard to knowing that coaching is what you like to do? Is teaching you feel like you have to do it for coaching, or you actually like doing that as well?
I love teaching. Because so it's funny. I teach at the elementary school in Twinsburg. Oh, okay. And I feel like I feel like it could be different if I was at the high school full time. But elementary school, you got kids every day wanting to come in and be better. Yeah. They don't come in pouting about what you got to do. You can go play gymnastics outside. You got guys wanting to play. Yeah. You can go do football outside. We got girls wanting to play. So I think that's why you love it. You got people trying to get better. You got students that just want to get better and have a strive for greatness. And I think I love both of them for sure. Now, getting into the field of teaching, coaching definitely played a big role into it because I did know that I wanted to be a head coach at some point in my life. So, I will say they definitely relate with each other. Okay.
So with the training part of what you do, you say you do it more in the summertime. But before you started training, what was it that got you I'm going to start training? I'm going to just start training today.
So I pushed it to the side. My first 3-4 years, I had a lot of people reach out to me about training, especially when you coach. You got people reaching out, and I guess it was something I didn't want to do. And then I just say, why not make a side hustle? Why not instead of sitting at home in my off season or whatnot, go do something that you love to do. Right. And then so now obviously you're still gaining more relationships. You're seeing the growth. You're helping student athletes reach their goal, potentially getting to the next level. So I think training for sure has definitely played a huge role into me obviously continue with the future. Yeah, for sure.
Because I me personally, I do want to do the training. That's what the ideal career, because that's what I like to do, and it's not. I don't feel like I'm working.
Right.
I'm really having fun doing what I want to do. So what would you say was the biggest eye opener for you to all right, this is how I gotta do it so I can grow?
I think for real, honestly, it's just like anything. Any something new that you don't do, it's always something in the back of your head. I don't know if I want to do it. But I'm telling you, once you do it, looking at you, I can tell you got some swagger. Obviously, you definitely hold yourself well. I think you definitely know how to hold a conversation. To me, that's the biggest thing, just building those relationships. Because at the end of the day, when you're training and whether you're, having a interview with the client to potentially have them be your client, they want to see how they interact with you. Sometimes it ain't just I can get you here. Get you here. It's am I gonna be comfortable with you getting me there? And I think that's huge. I think once you do it, man, it's fun. I tell you what, I don't look at the clock when I'm training. I could be at the gym 4 sessions in a row, not even knowing I'm there. I'm like, 4 hours. That's how you're doing something that you love. Yeah. For real. My advice, I would do it, man. I think, especially with your background, especially with you being an athlete, a college football player, I think that's something for sure that you would definitely have success doing.
But so as far as like during the school year come, is it training stops, or is it first? Is it strictly basketball training, or you do like working out as well as for people that's not athletes?
No, I got lacrosse players, soccer players, track players. I just had a pole vaulter break the state record or break a high school record at our school. So any type of athlete. During the school year is different because obviously I teach from like 8:30 to about 3. And then practice obviously during the season. So I'll go in the morning like 6 or 7 for a session or two. Then in the evenings I'll do a few times a week because you got to have a little bit of balance. You don't want to, mental health is obviously, very, very important. But at least a few days a week outside of work or teaching, I'm also training. So definitely getting probably at least 30, 40 sessions in a week of training clients as well as teaching and coaching.
How's the I heard you say like the student section was going crazy for you when you played the rival team. So is the school you coach at, is the how would I say it, the culture there real good? Like, does everybody support the basketball team? Like,
yes, I would tell you what, Nerdonia is definitely a football town. Denzel Ward graduated from Nerdonia. Okay. There's a couple other NFL, Trusnick, a couple other NFL players that have graduated from the school that I coach at. But, it's the support is there, man. It's a community that's very well put together. I think the administration is great. The support is there for sure. And we're putting it back on the map as a basketball program as well. When I was in high school, Nerdonia was just as good as basketball as they are in football. Yeah. They were. And even a little bit after. But again, I think to sustain excellence in a program, you got to keep putting the work in. We got to the district championship this year, but guess what? We don't want to go back to reaching sectionals as our goal next year. We want to keep sustaining what we're doing. And, it's put in the work. Everybody out working each summer, trying to get better. So I think that's the most important for sure.
Yeah, that's good. So like I said earlier when I was talking about as far as in the game, like with the sets and everything y'all got or the game plan, like is there ever a time where you like a player's getting hot or like the whole entire team hot and you just like hoop?
Oh yeah. That's the one. It's funny you say that because the one thing last year we as coaches talked about for our players, we wanted them to play more free. Because I felt like our first 3 years we was calling maybe too many sets and slowing the game down. Listen, they know how to hoop. They know how to play. Right. Let them be free. And we had a lot of success this year doing it. The guys had probably the most fun they've had. And I think that's the biggest thing too. Is as coaches, we get on our athletes. You guys know our coaches on your butt. But at the end of the day, y'all are putting the work in. And you guys are out there during the experience. So I think it's important to kind of put that two-way communication aspect to where, what do you see? What's something that you want to do or that you guys feel that's benefiting the team? And then, we collaborate on that. We'll come to an agreement. Because I think at the end of the day, you guys are young men. You guys are adults, and you got to make those decisions as well, not just the coaches.
You got a lot of dunkers on your team?
This year we got a couple. Last year we had a couple too. We had a 6'6" big who threw it down a lot. This year we got a 6'4" junior who can get up there. We also got a couple transfers that look like coming in that are very, very athletic. So I'm excited for this season and the future because guys are getting excited. That district championship run we had between middle school and high school, we had over 60 student athletes at open gym. Dang. Just because obviously they see the success and they want to be a part of it, so we just got to keep that train going. Yeah,
that's not bad. Yep. Like, cause me personally, I like dunking. Like I like the players that could dunk, like John Morant's or like Westbrook's. Cause at hitting threes is cool, you know, especially when you hit a dagger. But you go in there, you see somebody in there and like, and I'm about to dunk on you. Yeah, like I like that attitude. Like I always like that attitude. Like
we had a in the district semis we played Minner. Minner's one of the perennial powerhouses in Northeast Ohio. I mean, I think before this year, they reached a district championship in like 11 straight seasons. Dang. Yeah, I mean one of the biggest schools in the area. We had a play in the third quarter this year where flipped the whole script. We had a transition break, and we had an alley-oop in transition dunk, and it just the crowd went off, and it kind of like carried our momentum to the rest of the game. We ended up winning the game, and obviously we were the third seed, they were the fifth seed, but we were still the underdogs because of their history. And that was a big time change for a big time transition of the game off the alley-oop dunk. So I feel you saying it's becoming a 3-point game now, but it's nothing like going down the paint.
Big old dunk.
That
is crazy. Yeah. Like, okay, so when you a coach and you got different type of athletes, like different personalities you got to deal with, like how do you like decide how you're gonna coach this person different than the next person? because people take coaching differently.
Right, and that's the hardest part to me as a coach. And I would say this year is one of the biggest challenges of having that. Some players, you can get on with. Yeah. You know who you can rock with. You know who you can kind of motivate a different way. Say something to them that you might not be able to say to somebody else. Some people you got to pull to the side and talk to.
Right.
And I think again that's the most challenging part. But I think that happens to relationships.
Right.
When you first meet a student athlete, I'll be honest with you, I'm not probably the most welcome guy when I first meet you as a student, as a player.
Right.
Because I just want you to understand, the task, what we're trying to accomplish. As we regain those relationships, I ease up and they get more comfortable, and that's just my philosophy. I don't know how a lot of coaches do different stuff, but that's just what I've always done. And I think that as a coach, you have to be able to adapt to those multiple personalities, because if not, you're gonna have some locker room problems.
Right. How do you maintain your head, like if the game not going how you want to first half, and like going in the locker room, the guy's gonna be down. Like how do you, and you're down too, because you're human, because you know how it can be. Like how do you get yourself together? Like, all right, I got to get these boys back in it. I got to get them back motivated. How they make a run.
I think it depends on how we're down a half. If we're down a half and we're not playing hard, then I'm gonna go in and be upset.
Yeah.
If we're playing hard, we maybe not missing shots, maybe not executing on the assignments the right way, but they're playing hard, it's different. You try and motivate them and pick them up a little bit, but understand, look, we got another half of basketball. The way they started, why can't we finish that way?
Right.
Versus to a point where we're coming out lazy, then I'm gonna rip you a little bit and challenge your manhood a little bit. Yeah. Because I think, everyone don't get the opportunity to play. You play at the college level, even at the high school level, you're fortunate to be at this level playing.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna be out here not giving your best effort, and what are we doing here?
Yeah.
So I think it depends on pretty much the situation and why.
Yeah, because that's the same mindset I got. Like, for example, if we playing a team and they go up 28-0.
Right.
Like, they just went up 28 points in that half. We could score 28 points too in this half. It's
exactly.
Like we can do exactly what they just did, and the same exact way. But a lot of people look at it like, it's over.
Correct.
And I feel like that kills the momentum, like just like that.
And that's crazy you say that, because in high school, that's a huge piece. And this year we actually didn't. This was probably the first year in Ardonia we didn't have that. But we also had 8 seniors.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of leadership, and we had a bunch of guys that was freshmen, that played freshmen and came through the mud, came through the program. As seniors, they were a little bit more confident because of the work they put in. But you're right, Brecksville, a powerhouse in our area, they won the conference the last 3 to 4 years. And they got some dogs.
Yeah.
Our junior year, I can remember hearing our guys saying, we can't beat them. We can't beat them. Senior year, we didn't beat them. We came close, but it wasn't that mentality.
Yeah.
We thought we had a chance to win. We knew we had a chance to win. So again, it depends. To me, it's about the work you put in, and how hard you grind and work, and then that's ultimately how you drive yourself for success.
So what's the biggest thing you learned from all 3 of the occupations you have? Because they're all similar in the aspect. You're teaching in all of them.
Right.
But you, like you said, elementary, that's more genuine because the kids want to be there. They love to be around you. They can't wait to go back to school.
Right.
And then it's you got coaching basketball. You got your players. Then you got the training part. So what do you think you learned from doing all 3 of those? For
sure, accountability, organization, and just commitment. I think about it, as coaches, as teachers, as trainers, we're telling them what we expect. We're holding them accountable. Well, are you accountable? Are you there on time? Are you changing up the programs and training? Are you coming with a practice plan every day at practice? Game plan? Are you, as a teacher, are you having your lessons plan organized? So I think, it's crazy because if you don't, if you can preach all that stuff, but if they're gonna be able to see it, you're gonna be able to know if your coach ain't prepared for this game, put you all in the best position to win.
Right.
Same with a student, same with an athlete, same with a client. So I think at the end of the day, if you're not prepared, you're going to get exposed regardless. So to me, that's definitely my advice on that.
As a coach, what do you think will be your motto? Like, how everybody has the motto that creates the culture of that team.
Right.
And that actually what gets people, in college to commit somewhere.
So
what do you think yours would be?
Our word we use is uncommon a lot. You're uncommon. You're not the normal student that's going home after class.
Right.
You're not the normal student that's just going to work or going to class every day.
Yeah.
You got commitments. You got to wake up for workouts at 6 a.m. Then go to class. and come back later in the evening for practice.
Yep.
You know, you gotta work in the community for doing community service hours. You gotta sign autographs after the game.
Yeah.
So to me, it just develops a young man, a young woman. Because at the end of the day, you doing stuff at 18, 19, 20, 21 that some adults can't do.
Right.
So then by the time you done this stuff already for 4, 5, 6 years. When you get to the real world, there's nothing. You've been doing this stuff since you've been 16.
Yeah.
So look, I've been doing this. Yeah, it might be something different. It might be a job, but at the end of the day, the commitment that I put in growing up, I've been here before. It's nothing different than I haven't done.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, but that's all I got for you, man.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Likewise.
Yep.